What is going on, guys? This is Jake here with Jake's Trains. I do apologize that you haven't seen anything from me in a while. It's definitely been a minute, but everyone knows how life gets. It got really crazy throughout the spring there and summer. Um, I was able to put out those two videos back in March, while I was actually recovering while I was in the hospital. Um, I ended up having a battery blow up in my pocket, and so that put me out of work for a while and everything. Um, so while I was recovering, I put out those two videos I already had pre-recorded, given I was already traveling for work. So I would record stuff while I was home and then post it while I was on the road. Um, and that worked for a while, and then, basically by the time I finally got home, it my basement, as you can kind of tell, is, I mean, I live in an older house, and so it's not clean, and not really good for someone who's healing, from something of what happened to me. So I'm not going to get any more of that. But I mean, it's middle September. I'm healed up from that. Pretty much healed up. But so things have just, besides that, just still end up getting crazy. Just with spring and summer in general. Vacations and a certain train ride back in July. Norfolk and Western 611 over in Strasburg. I ended up, I got tickets for that, and I took my whole family to that. But and then on top of that, I ended up, sort of creating a little business for myself, with modifying trains and stuff for people. It's still real small. It takes me a little while because I'm still learning it, but I know take my time and I do a good job at it. I've done a couple diesels now and one steam engine of my own and one steam engine for my buddy Austin. I know one of you guys commented on one of my posts several months ago. You had seen my 844 on the track. I'm way more comfortable now doing a video for it, because I did some massive work to that engine. But for my Austin's Big Boy, I did a full-blown ESU swap into it, which it was a Broadway Limited. And but thanks to him and how I have most of my MTH engines, especially the Heritage units, he ended up leading me to the fact that he had a MTH Bush funeral car. And he told me, hey, look, I've already got one from Rick Dakota Kempf. I personally like his more, and I already have it, and I'm going to be waiting a while for the MTH. So I said, sure, why not? I'll take it. And at the same time, I had already said yes to Rick myself. So I actually have two cars from Rick, and I also ended up picking up that MT funeral car. I'll put the MSRP for that right here. No, I didn't pay that much for it, because, Austin had already taken it out and used it. But either which way, it's obviously, you guys can tell me what you think about it. But it's a really nice car. The biggest complaint about it is the fact that, granted, I'm going up against someone who is a really amazing painter. But MTH kind of did a poor interior on it. I'm kind of let down by that. But besides that, the whole outside, they knocked it out of the park. But it can run a 22-inch radius, whereas the Walthers units can't. Those cars, they say a minimum of 24. I would recommend, 24 to 26 at least, leaning more on the 26 side. And sadly, my layout just can't run it, especially if they've got the 3-axle trucks. But so more about that later. So and about Rick, you know, his both of the cars that he made for me, they're going to be intertwined throughout the whole video. He does an absolutely amazing job. Now, granted, like I said, he does pretty much the interior of the car. The baggage car, he does do a little bit of exterior work on it, as I'm going to point out in the video. So, you know, the fact that they don't work on my layout, it's not Rick's fault. It's the fact that, you know, Walthers units are, you know, they are starting to become very detailed on their cars. So, you know, the fact that they make them, you know, only a 26, you know, or 24, it kind of stinks that I can't run it, but eventually I will. So, but all right, let's go ahead and start with unboxing this awesome car. All right, as you can see here, it comes in their standard MTH box that even their diesels come in anymore. But on the side, it says streamlined baggage passenger car, smooth Union Pacific Bush funeral casket car. This is for 2-rail HO, and it has overhead LED interior lighting, operates on a minimum of a 22-inch radius curve, and detailed car undercarriage. Let's go ahead and open it up. See if I can do this one-handed. Nope. And once you get the lid off, inside it comes with this paperwork here. Mine has 2 layers of foam, and then you get the car inside of its plastic packaging. As you can see here, they did a really nice job at it. But let's go ahead and get it out of this plastic. That way you get rid of the glare. Alright, now that's out of the plastic packaging, as you can see here it is. It is to full scale length, and they did a really nice job at the paintwork, and I'm assuming however that they put the flag on the side, they did a really nice job at it. Try and spin this around without the car falling off. As you can see, it does come with diaphragms on the side. They kind of just rock back and forth. They don't stick out too far. It does come with metal couplers on it, and it does have air hose detail on the side. You got metal handrails and steps everywhere. You can see through in this door here, and of course you can see through right there. The nice thing is that they kind of put plexiglass in there to represent, you know, the plexiglass that they had in the real thing. You can kind of see it right there. One big thing I'm not a fan of with this model from MTH, zoom in here, it's kind of got felt, like more or less the flag is made of like a felt, and then it's kind of got little strands sticking up. So that's kind of one thing I really don't care about this model. But in my opinion, that's pretty much the only thing I don't care about. Everything else they did an absolutely amazing job on. I mean, if you have any of their other, you know, UP Heritage cars, it's the exact same build quality. On the side, it does have the presidential seal with Proud Heritage, Powerful Future on the side with the UP shield and Building America. This is the 5769 baggage car. As you can see there, you get the truck detail, which is very, very nicely done. And let's see here, up here on the roof, you got all the rivets and everything that you can see, all very nicely detailed. Paint's very nice. And flip it under. It is very detailed underneath as well. Air hoses, brake cylinders, and everything. So yeah, they did a absolutely fantastic job on this. So let's go ahead and grab the Walthers car. Alright guys, so here we have the funeral car from Rick. He uses the Walthers baggage car, and then he ends up doing a bunch of work to it, because they don't actually make the true version of this. Um, sorry. So uh, basically, all of their cars come with the baggage car comes with the 6 axles, where the actual baggage car, much like MTH, only has a 4 axle. So he changes out his units to have the 4 axle units. So with that being said, he does end up having to do a bunch of work to the underside, to make it work, because they are set differently. One thing to also mention about this, I mean, pretty typical Walthers compared to MTH or BLI or Athearn is, well, unless it's an Athearn Blue Box. It's not nearly as detailed underneath. But so things to make note of, he does end up putting lighting in these cars here, so you can kind of see the light is actually still on. I just had it on the tracks. But so he adds an LED light in here with a keep alive and everything. But besides that, I mean, everything else is just about the same. He does a really nice job, blacking out the windows here. One thing that MTH did not do compared to the actual prototype, is that the window was actually supposed to be black. The flag that he does is absolutely incredible. Nice straight lines and everything. He also, kind of hard to see, I'll show it later, but he does have a marine in there that MTH does not do. And they also do not put the presidential seal on their car. So he puts that on, and that's all mainly because of the fact that this car here is just a standard baggage car, and then he cuts the door out, puts the plexiglass in, wood floor, and everything else. And then he details it from there. But I mean, everything else about the car is just about the same. They both have the diaphragms, they both have, metal grab irons everywhere. And they've got knuckle couplers, just the larger ones from Walthers. They're not the Cadies. But I mean, everything else is just as nice. The one biggest difference, especially with these trucks, it kind of allows this car to go down to about a 24-inch radius. And that's also kind of what Walther says, is they're anywhere between a 26 and a 24-inch radius. So that's kind of one downfall compared to MTH with the 22. But that's some of the main concerns that I actually found with this unit. And some of that's not even Rick's fault. He pretty much just does the casket, the floor, the marine, adds the logo, changes the trucks out. So he helps it out a little bit, in all honesty, but it's still it's tough. So, but all right, let's go ahead and get back to this MTH car here and test out its coupler heights. All right, so now that we got the car on the tracks, we got my coupler height gauge here. Let's test that out. You can see that is right on with the money. Perfect height there and everything. All right, let's go ahead and test out the other side. This side seems like it might be a little low, but that hasn't seemed to be a big deal. The fake air hose, whatever you really want to call that, is up high enough. So anyway, good job MTH. Let's go ahead and turn on the power and check out the lighting. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and test out the lighting here with the lights in my basement on. As you can see, it is it's lit. As you can see, there's no marine in there, and it's just the gray flooring. actually, and plus kind of like a metal, probably the metal weight. But you can see it is lit in there, and it does have a bit of a keep alive to it, and then it just softly turns off and then right back on. This thing, in all honesty, it rides super nice, super smooth. I haven't had any issues with this car. Alright, let's go ahead and turn out the lights and see what she looks like at night. Alright, and here it is with the lights off. You can definitely see in that smaller window now. You can definitely see inside here at the casket. With the light on, you can see all the extra fuzz that's sticking up. All the extra fuzz sticking up. And when I zoom in, you can really kind of see how poor the flag looks. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that's in all honesty really my only complaint with this thing. It's pretty much the fact of how poor they did the flag. Let's go ahead and throw Rick's car up here so you can see that. He does add lighting to his. Alright, so here's his car. His is definitely a good bit brighter. But with it open, or with the light on, you can now see that marine in there. You can see his wood flooring, and you can see the casket. Like I said, I think he just does a really incredible job. So if you want this done to your car, I'll put his link in the description below. He's a really nice guy. And nothing against him, it's just there's definitely some issues with the Walthers cars in themselves, mainly because Walthers being Walthers, they're kind of cheaping out. He also puts like cabinetry, mail slot cabinetry in there as well. And then, like I said, puts the lighting in and everything with the keep alive. So he does a really nice job. And then while we're at it, let me grab his other car here. Try and do this without shortening out my layout. As you can see, here's the third one. It's more just an open car, but he does put wood flooring in it, and I asked him to put lighting in it. Left this side open with some light shining through. I'll go ahead and turn my layout lighting back on, that way you can actually take a look at this car. One thing to make note of though is MTH light output compared to his. His are definitely significantly brighter. But I mean, it's MTH, it's a nice warm colored light. I'm not saying that these ones aren't. They do show up a little bit more harsh on the camera, but yeah, I don't know how to really describe it, but I mean, it's not a horrible thing that it's not coming out here onto the table like it is here. But yeah, let's go ahead and turn the lighting back on so we can check out this third car by Rick. Alright, here's the MTH car. As you can see, it lines up real nice with the Walthers car. Walthers car might end up being a little bit higher, but he does change out the trucks on this car here, because Walthers doesn't like to put the correct trucks on this car. They put the 6-axle trucks on instead of the 4-axle trucks, so he ends up having to modify the casket car. But this one here is the other one I had him do for me. So this is the Experience the Union Pacific Promontory car. It's also a Walthers car, but he puts, it's real wood flooring in here. He puts lighting in it. if you ask him for it. But one thing to make note of, he actually paints these. So this is the proper UP paint, Armor Yellow, and then he puts a nice gloss coat on it, so it is very shiny. But I think he just does an absolutely incredible job on it. I really like the Experience logo, and I never really noticed it until I saw this, but it actually has a bunch of like people and Union Pacific workers and everything all within the logo. So I thought that was a really nice touch that Union Pacific did. Alright, well, I guess we should get back to the fact that this is actually an MTH Bush funeral car review. So this is the car here. Like I said, I think they could have done a little bit better job inside. But besides that, you know, they did an excellent job everywhere else. You know, the fact that this goes down to a 22 is really great. You know, the Walthers cars definitely don't go down anywhere near that. I would recommend at least probably a 26 for them. I know it says 24 on their website, but I've got 24s and it won't make it around my 24s. So I at least recommend a 26. But yeah, so that should just about do it for this review. Like I said, you know, if this is MTH's final send out, you know, they did an impeccable job everywhere except for the casket. So I guess let's go ahead and hook up my MTH 4141 and have her pull George Bush off into the sunset for the final time. Alright guys, well that should be just about it for this video. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If this is your first time coming to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and even that bell icon. That way you are notified every time that I post. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and write those down there in the comment section. I do what I can to reply to most of those. So, and then I'm also going to go ahead and put my Instagram information down below. You are going to see some stuff on there that you have not seen on here yet, including my 844 and a lot of the work that I've done. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out if you want. And that should just about do it. So, have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you guys next time.